All right, we're home. We've got burgers on the menu tonight. I'm handling dinner. Caitlin is fried. Her and Sienna are in the living room hanging out. We're gonna do burgers, sweet potato fries, and it's gonna be yummy. I figured that I would use this time to kind of talk about something that's been on my mind. I was talking with a client today about what the game plan is. We've been kind of walking on eggshells with everybody about this. It almost feels like we can't be too excited about this next step, because if we're excited, then it almost is like a dig at the people who live here, our family, our friends. You know, obviously that's not our intentions. It's just the prospect of having opportunities that we just don't have access to here. Yeah, my client and I were talking about that. It was interesting because those same feelings came up. She wasn't pressing at all, and this client and I are cool. It's an interesting dynamic, balancing the fragility of people's emotions when it comes to us moving. It's a very delicate subject. People are not super stoked about it. I am right now in the realm of gearing up to let my clients know the timeline, because we are 4.5 months out, so we're not far away. And I don't want this to be a surprise. I'm not going to be here next week. It's an interesting concept with personal training as well. You've got people who have committed to working with somebody, in this case me. It's difficult to commit and trust somebody with your safety when it comes to training. Some people come to me, they have had injuries or what have you. That idea of a relationship being created is what makes it difficult to leave. Of course, I've got clients that I've worked with long term, clients like my dad. That makes me sad to think about, you know, clients who I don't know what their training situation will be. I am in a weird space as far as how I feel about this. You know, you get excited about like the prospect of moving, and you're all fired up because it's like, we can do something that we can't do here. We can, you know, finally take a step. We might be able to be homeowners. And then at the same time, there is the bittersweet aspect of you're moving away, taking a step you haven't ever taken. So we are in an interesting position. We want to do right by people and not offend people by coming into every room and being like, guess what? We're moving, like a slap in the face. And at the same time, we also want to be excited about this because we should be. It's a change that we are anticipating. I talked about it, I think last week, how I had kind of a moment of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing this job, and I love personal training, I love helping people. It's not making enough money in this area. It's difficult working with people who are not motivated. That's not all of my clients. There are a majority who are very motivated and they see results. But the nature of personal training is that the people who are choosing to work with you are typically people who require a runner. The accountability, consistency of having somebody there, that can be challenging on the trainer's end. Trainer puts in a lot of work. If you're somebody who doesn't do cookie cutter stuff, I do not. All sessions are curated in advance, and I put a lot of time and effort into my clients, and it can be frustrating when the job is just so volatile. It's up and down. If clients aren't here, I don't make money. I don't have a product that can be delivered no matter where they are, besides online coaching, but these people are working with me in person. So got some stuff on the horizon, got some stuff to tell you guys. We're still excited to move. We are gonna miss our family and our friends. Maybe you're somebody who has moved away from family and you feel that, or maybe you're somebody who's on the verge of doing that. We're right there with you. Burgers and sweet potato fries are done. I misjudged how many sweet potato fries I should make. I gave Sienna the rest of mine. Yeah, I feel like that happens a lot, where you know your kid, they want what's on your plate. So yeah, Sienna and Caitlin just finished eating and they're gonna go up into the bath. I never do burgers right. Maybe it's just because, you know, I don't grill. A lot of the times I'll cook them on a pan, but I don't like time it right. And the sweet potato fries and everything, it was just mistimed. So the girls ate. I am going to eat right now, and I promised that I would show you the finished product. We're looking at cherry tomatoes, lettuce, a little bit of cheese. We got some pepperoncinis, onion, some organic mayo, and some sriracha. So I am going to absolutely devour this. I'm super hungry, and then I need to take a shower. I am so behind. I am editing the first vlog. It takes so long, but my goal is to finish that tonight and then post that. So let me eat in peace and enjoy this moment with this burger. I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go back to work. Mom's gonna be home very soon. Did you know that?
What's that? I want to see.
What's up, guys? I figured that I would use this time to do a little weekly recap. So what we had going on this week was the 15-year anniversary of my dad's accident. So my dad has, he suffered a traumatic brain injury when I was 11. Yeah, it marked 15 years, which is crazy. And the ironic part, and you know, my sister and I joke about this because we have like dark humor and that's how we get through things, but we found out, he got hurt on the 31st. We found out about this because he wasn't local when it happened. He was in LA. We found out about this on April 1st, which was like, obviously April Fool's Day, not the best day to find out about that. We always joke that was like the worst April Fool's joke of all time. I figured that I could talk about some of my thoughts about that and you know how that's affected me. Obviously 15 years, time has passed, the way you view things changes, and I think in the beginning of it happening it was definitely traumatic. I can remember I had like such poor sleep. I don't even know how long, a year maybe after that. Yeah, just such shift. I was 11, just such a strange time, you know, in your life to have a parent just like change altogether. He was in a coma for 10 months. He had to relearn how to do everything. Like trauma, I feel like has definitely affected my memory as far as like timeline goes. Like I don't have a hard time remembering things that happened, but I have a hard time placing when they happened. And I've had some people tell me that they think that's because of, you know, the trauma that's gone on in my life and the things that I've experienced and whatnot. Yeah, that was a pretty incredible change in a 6th grader's life. It's crazy to think how fast time goes by. And even though that happened 15 years ago, he still has limitations. Moving in the next couple of months, it makes me sad because I think about the connection that I have with him and how lucky I am that, you know, he's still alive, right? He could have died and our lives would have changed altogether. Yeah, I think that this age for me and this time of life, this season of life has just kind of been like, it makes you like reflect a little bit and be like, there's so many changes that are coming up. First it started, we get engaged, we get married, we have a daughter, right? And then, you know, she's growing up so fast and now we're making this massive change in our lives to move, and it's not just a move down the street, it's move far away. It just makes you think about the time that you have to spend with people, continuing to mentally prepare for the changes that we're going to be going through. I think that we're in for a treat as far as the life that we're going to be able to build, moving and being able to live a certain type of way that we think we know from experience from visiting and being there in Middle Tennessee, that there's a life that we're more interested in living. The housing here in Santa Cruz County is insane. If you're not from the Bay Area, go on Zillow and just look up some of the houses in Santa Cruz County. It is wild. So us moving is not a diss or a slight at California, the state, the physical state. It's mostly just the, you know, the other aspects that are like the cost of living. Everything is really politicized here for sure too. My wife and I are very much detached from the rigorous political agenda on either side, right? We just want to love people and raise our kids to be kind to the people around them and to love on people. And we want to farm, we want a homestead, we want to grow our food, we want to have our kids run around in the yard barefoot. That's our goal. That's where our blinders are focused on right now, because I don't know what it's going to be like moving away from family. I don't know. If you've done it, put it in the comments and tell me what your experience is like, or things that I should be paying attention to or doing a better job of, because I'm trying to be as present as I can, but the person that I am is very much, I want to be prepared so that I'm not unprepared, for lack of a better word. I'm trying to be present. There's definitely some times where I'm a little bit not locked in when it comes to being with people, understanding that, hey, it's gonna change, right? We're gonna be across the country a couple months from now. That's a little bit of a weekly catch up. Oh, also, Sienna's sick. I saw a statistic that said that kids under, don't quote me on this, but kids under 4 get sick twice a month. Just being a parent and a newer parent, holy moly.
That is crazy. Every week, I have more and more respect for my mom and dad. I didn't realize that this was what all this entailed. Just when you think you get a little lull, it's like they get sick and your sleep is gonna be trash and your patience is gonna get tested. Sienna's in this new phase of testing boundaries, which is really fun. In this vlog, I made burgers that night. Sienna, I made her our nickname for her is Buggy, and so I said, this is a special Buggy burger. I made her own burger, gave it to her, she's eating it, and she's whenever she says she doesn't like something, she says, no like that. But, we say, okay, we'll try it with, some ketchup or whatever. She likes it, and then, 3/4 of the way through the burger, I'm in the kitchen cleaning up, and I see a patty fly. I can't see her, but I just see a patty fly across and hit the wall. And Caitlin and I walk over and we're like, that's not okay. Dada made that food and, made it for you. We're really working on saying, let's make eye contact when we're talking to you, and when you're talking to us, I wanna make eye contact. And so I look at her and I say, okay, look at Dada's eyes. Do we wanna be nice or do we wanna be mean? Because throwing food is mean. And she looks at me, and my wife's standing right there. She looks at me and goes, I wanna be mean. And it took everything in me not to absolutely bust up laughing. I'm just not that guy to be the authoritarian parent. That's not Caitlin and I. We are very much teach through love, and there's discipline and whatnot, but I just looked at her and was just like, okay, that was mean. Let's try not to throw our food next time, okay? And then she looked at me and said, okay. It's just so interesting how her brain works. But yeah, for new parents out there or expecting parents, it's fun stuff. But it's all worth it when these little things happen where you see them growing up and you're like, oh my gosh, one day I'll look back on this and miss when I see hamburger patties go flying. That's where we're at. I think I'm going to clean our fridge today. Super fun, exciting stuff. I think that's what we'll do. We were gonna do dinner with my family tomorrow. We're trying to be really, like I said, in the moment. I'm spending time with family right now, especially because my sister is 12 days away from her due date. Dinner tomorrow is probably not gonna happen, depending on how Sienna feels. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, checking this out. Happy Easter, be safe. See you guys next week.